Okay, students have already learned how to do most of these skills. We're just going to put them all together into one major skill, probably one of the most important skills. So they already know how to make a tinder bundle, but I'm going to have them create one so they'd have the nice fluffy material on the inside that gets more coarse as it goes to the outside, about the size of a bird's nest ideally, or larger. They can shave off material if they don't have something like cedar bark. They can split wood, and if the wood's wet on the outside, shave off the dry material on the inside. And that's what we have here in the center part of the tinder bundle. Then they would also, before they started making the coal, at least have a TP setup of twigs. Now they don't have to have the larger material, especially if you're at a school district or a college that won't allow you to build a fire. They can at least have all these steps and make an ember. But if you can't have a fire, most colleges or school districts are going to require you to have some sort of container so it's contained up off the ground. And that's what we've done here just as an example, because I can easily put it out by putting the lid back on, pouring water, what have you, but have all those resources set up for the students. So I'm going to use my preferred method. So some students may choose the fire roll because it's the easiest, and that's fine. One other thing to note here is I've used a form of tinder fungus to extend the coal so that if I need to work on something or that coal, the first coal doesn't work out, I have a second or a third chance to make the fire. And you notice I've got this up off the wet ground as well. So I'm going to place a piece of that tinder fungus below where the coal is going to drop and collect. And I'm going to go ahead and make my coal and then place the ember coal. You'll hear it referred to as both sometimes. That term is interchangeable. So I'm going to step up here close to fireboard. I may have to move some of this down so I don't knock it over with the actual bow drill. The students will have already practiced the bow drill at this point. I've got to angle that so that I don't knock my tinder bundle around, and you may have to just move it out of the way if it becomes an issue. But you want to be able to see the students do all the skills together so that you know they can actually make a fire. So I've got a nice chunky coal there. It's burning into the tinder, or the tinder fungus. So once that starts the tinder fungus, and I know it's burning into it, I'm going to take the coal off. And you can see that that's continuing to burn. I'm going to set that aside, take the coal itself, and I'm going to place it in the center of that tinder bundle. And let me get to a position where I can show you what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to roll it up. Some people like to call that the taco, the bird's nest, whatever. But you're going to wrap it up. So what I'm trying to do is blow that into that fluffy material so it becomes a larger coal. So I can see that the coal is expanding. And I place that at the bottom of my TP. I gotta be careful that that doesn't burn back up at me. So here you can see that's the tinder fungus, and it's continuing to burn. And I would have multiple coals there I could use. So 45 degrees is ideal because that gives the perfect angle for it to burn up and into the teepee itself, catching other logs on fire. And so if I were to feed this, I would take smaller logs now and start to build on top of that, building that teepee up with thicker and thicker logs. Especially once it gets a coal base, I won't have to use the teepee structure anymore.